everyone, I'm Super Fizz from the ETHStaker community at 4 a.m. Central Time, and I'm here with a ragtag group of people who either live somewhere far away from the Central Time Zone or pulled themselves out of bed at an ungodly hour to celebrate the Berlin upgrade to the ETH1 chain of the Ethereum network with you. So we're really excited. We're going to be here, it looks like about 2 hours this morning. I woke up about 7 seconds ago, so I don't know exactly what the upgrade timing is going to look like. But as we go through the call for the next couple hours, we will talk about when that's going to happen, what upgrades are going to happen, and we're going to do a lot of exciting things on the way. None of them are quite on my head yet because I woke up 7 seconds ago. Before we get started, all right, I'd like to welcome a bunch of people that I love to see every day. First off is going to be Patricio Worthalter. Hi, Patricio.
Good morning, everyone.
Patricio, with a fresh haircut. Where did you get your haircut?
Where do you think I got it?
I don't know, somewhere in Buenos Aires. Yeah. Also, we have Colfax with us this morning. Colfax has been spending a lot of time with ETHStaker, and we're glad to have his help. We have Anvetica. Oh, sorry. There, good to see you.
Hello, hello.
Anvetica does a lot of our video and logistics and all of our graphics and everything that ever needs to be done. So glad to have you. Another person joining us a lot lately is Grey Wizard. Hi, Grey Wizard.
Hello.
So if you don't know this about ETHStaker, we are a fly-by-the-seat group of people, and Grey Wizard has been helping us with planning, and it's kind of a new thing for us. It's kind of interesting. So we're glad to have Grey Wizard with us. And we have Butta. Hello, Butta.
Hi, everyone.
And working on some things. Oh, well, so I'd also like to point out Bernito is here with us. And Bernita actually manages the POAP bot. Thank you for doing that, Bernito. Also with ETHStaker, we have Nolan, who you know is Lamboshi, and he's here, but he's working on some high-level kind of abstract sort of guerrilla things that he would normally be doing at 4 a.m. that I cannot tell you exactly what they are, but you can probably guess. So yeah, and I see a lot of other friends. I know hopefully we'll give you a chance to share with us during the call. So it is great to see everyone this morning. The most important reason we're here. What is the most important reason we're here? So obviously the Berlin upgrade. We're planning to hold a raffle. We have a POAP for this call. One of the most exciting things that we want to get to early is sharing with you this new product that Patricio has been developing for the past several months called POAP.art. And in order to get on board with POAP.art, you will need to claim today's POAP. And who is Colfax, I think, is going to share with us how to claim today's POAP, and then we'll go more in depth about how we can put POAP.art to use during this call.
Awesome. So good morning, guys. As Super Fizz mentioned, I'm Colfax, and here I'm going to show you quickly how to claim your POAP for today's call. So let me share my screen here. So today we're going to use the POAP bot to claim your POAP. So if you've done this before, it should be pretty self-explanatory, but for those who haven't, I'll show you here quickly. So right here, I'm on the ETHStaker Discord, and the POAP bot is a part of a few different Discords. I'm going to show you how to claim it here on the ETHStaker Discord. And so you can see here, there's a POAP channel. There's a few different ways to find it. Right here, you can see Patricio tagged the POAP bot. And also here on the right-hand side, if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see the POAP bot right here. And so the best way to claim, or really the only way to claim the POAP, is you want to direct message the POAP bot. You do not want to tag it. We see that a lot. So what you want to do is you want to right click on the POAP bot, and you're going to click message. And you're going to message the secret word, which secret word today is Berlin. So you just type it in and hit go. And then there you go. You're going to get sent a link. Go ahead and click this link. It'll kick you to a web page. Which of course will open up on a different window. And you put in your Ethereum address or your ENS. So I've actually already claimed mine, so I'll claim Patricio's for him.
You're very kind.
And so just type it in, ENS's work or addresses. It is free to claim, so there's free minting on XDAI. Later you can move it to mainnet if you'd like to, and you just click claim. So it takes a few seconds, and then it'll pop up letting you know that it should be there. And then I will show you Patricio's beautiful POAP collection. And so while this is claiming it, here we go. So check my badges, and you can double check. So this beautiful design here will be popped up here as your latest POAP in just a second. And I want to talk about the design for a second. It was designed by Invetica.eth, and it's really awesome. He worked really hard on it.
It should have been appeared there, right?
Yeah, it should have appeared.
Yeah, but let's assume that it's there.
Yeah, let's assume that it's there. So I'm going to swing over. Sometimes it takes just a little bit to pop. I'll show you what mine looks like. So my collection is nowhere near as beautiful as Patricio's, but you can see I have the Berlin upgrade party POAP right here. So yours should show up pretty quickly. And next, something exciting to share with you guys is today we have a few different exciting things going on that are related to this POAP. So there's a lot of reason to claim it. One of which is the launch of POAP.art, which I'll leave to Patricio and a few others to talk about later. What I will talk about now, though, is we're doing a raffle later in the call. And so what you want to do is this POAP is the only POAP to make you eligible for the raffle. And we're going to post this raffle link. It's POAP.fun/156. And we have some pretty awesome prizes today. And without spilling too many beans, the first prize is an option of either 1 ETH or an NFT that will actually be minted today, which I'll leave to some more people to talk about later. We have a few other prizes. Fourth and fifth prize, honestly, are amazing prizes. It's this amazing POAP pin, and we'll mail it to you wherever you are in the world. So some really exciting stuff here. So the way you can actually enter yourself into the raffle is head on over to POAP.fun/156 and scroll down. Once you claim your POAP, it'll say that you're eligible here, and you can just click join raffle. And here I have my account here on MetaMask, and it'll have me just sign a transaction. Make sure that you're on mainnet and that the address that you have the POAP on is connected. And you go ahead and click sign.
Looks like the POAP bot is having a little bit of difficulty right now. And so we're hearing from YouTube that people are having difficulty claiming. If someone here can speak to that, that's great. But I do know that sometimes the bot is a little wonky. So we'll just give it a little bit of time. Actually, it's the remote XDAI node that usually has some trouble. But don't panic. We'll get to it early, and things will still work out. So if Bernito or anyone else would like to address that, would be great.
Sounds good. Big Confidence seemed great. Big thanks to those guys for setting all this up. So last thing is I just want to show you. So now I'm officially in the raffle. You can see that your POAP, you'll show up in this box here, and you're assigned a number. And this number is very important later, which I'll explain to you how that becomes relevant. But yeah, so there you go. That's your POAP, and that's your raffle. So one other thing that I want to go over quickly is there's a little button here to enable notifications. And these notifications, don't worry, they're not spammy or annoying, but it'll notify you when the raffle is about to I believe, yeah, it notifies you when the raffle's about to kick off, and some good things. So go ahead and enable the notifications if you want to. And the raffle will take place sometime later during the call. And yeah, we'll announce it probably after the official upgrade. So unless I missed anything, I'll probably pass it off to either Superfizz or Patricio to talk about maybe POAP.art.
We're ready for Patricio to do POAP.art. Let me give you a little bit of heads up, though. Patricio is the originator of the POAP platform. Most people have no idea what that stands for. It is the Proof of Attendance Protocol. And so POAP has quickly become one of my favorite things. It's neat. A lot of things that Patricio comes up with, I'm naturally aligned with, and there are some that I'm super aligned with. POAP would be one of those things that I love to collect. Every time I go to any call, as a matter of fact, I tweeted this week that there are some calls that are so important to me that I miss because I'm like, I can watch it later. But if there's a POAP offered, I will crawl out of bed at 4 a.m. to go and participate in the call just so maybe it's because I feel more linked to the call with a POAP. But it is an emerging platform, and it is fantastic. Not only is there the badge, but Patricio has developed kind of a suite of sites to support POAP. Things like POAP Gallery, POAP.fun. There are others that are just not at the top of my head right now. But POAP art is an entirely new animal that is what you might call a cousin rather than a direct brother or sister of POAP. And I'm really excited for Patricio to share that. I just wanted to set the stage before he gets into it. So what do you got, buddy?
Thank you very much. Yeah, so because this is a big thing, it couldn't go without travel. And although the POAP have been mint and over 400 have been claimed right now, there seem to be some issue here and there. So while we cover it, I would like to remember everyone the reason why we are here, which is not the launch of POAP.art, but the upgrade of the protocol underlying the Ethereum network. So the Ethereum network has been running using the same software protocol for more than a year. And after intense research and engineering work by several notable people, some around here, it's about to get upgraded. These upgrades are analog to changing the engine of an aircraft mid-flight. So it's always somewhat scary. And because we, right at this same call, we have some of the magicians behind, like Thomas and Afri. Well, Afri's chair seems to be open. Adrian's here, although Adrian is on the ETHStaker side. So Thomas, since you are here, and we are so grateful to have you on our call, could you share a couple thoughts about what this means to you? Why is it exciting? Why DeFi operations are going to be more expensive? When is CIP 1559 coming, maybe? If you could spare some knowledge, we would be very happy about that.
Yeah, hi, sure. Hi, everyone. So I think that Berlin brings a few very important changes here. Obviously, there is a bit of repricing for security reasons, making sure that everything is a bit more aligned with the actual cost of the execution of code and storage mainly. Make sure that you take advantage of the access lists because they're being introduced to actually save you some gas if you do that properly. So I think you will see in the clients that this access list creation RPC will be available. So read about it more. I think that 2718 is particularly important as well for the future because it gives the opportunity for a lot of new transaction types. And I think lots of ideas from people in the core dev community and broader community are based on what 2718 brings. So the new transaction types and ability to build any format for the incoming transactions, so whether they are flying around in the mempools or being accepted, included in the blocks. So I expect that it opens something good. So it's a gateway to lots of ideas.
You forgot to introduce yourself.
Sorry. Yeah, I've been working on this changes for Berlin as part of the Nethermind team. So Nethermind is one of the Ethereum 1 clients, and we do a lot of other things related to Ethereum protocol and Ethereum protocol only, really. And yeah, that's why it's an important moment for me, because we're just looking at this counter and making sure that we monitor every single node and that we are in touch with all the other teams there. And I think all the Ethereum 1 teams are sitting there and doing the same.
Yeah, that was my next question. What would you guys do if something doesn't go well?
Yeah, so we have like multiple chats where we potentially discuss any issues that we discover during the monitoring. We have all the like Grafana dashboards, connections with the users. There are separate monitors to check if all the client nodes are in line and following the same branches.
Yeah. What's the best resource someone on the ground could use? Is it like ETHStats.net, a good page to track it?
I think multiple resources. So the Ether nodes would be one, probably. They just monitoring if the party and Open Ethereum, Azu, Nethermind, Geth nodes are on the same chains there. There is the special DevOps channel that is really more for core devs, which displays the branches and the branching. I cannot just bring the from memory the address, but yeah, there is a DevOps channel that is maintained by the security team at Ethereum. And I think just check if the blocks are going forward. I think that in a way, with the majority of the mining nodes being Geth, the consensus issues are a bit like maybe worse for the minority clients, but generally not that severe for the network. But still, we should be hoping that there'll be everything smooth. We were testing and verifying if everything is fine on test networks for the last few weeks, and I think there was fantastic work done by the fuzzing team in Ethereum. Running to the very last moment checks if we can discover anything unusual on the behavior of the nodes on the test nets and outside.
Pretty cool.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here today, because I have been a Geth user for 10 years, and when people ask me, I default to Geth because it's what I know. Can you give me an idea why I might choose Nethermind after having had experience with Geth?
Yeah, sure. For multiple reasons. Like I think that one of the reasons would be you want to build some extensions and you are more familiar with like the .NET world. So maybe you want to build for enterprise and experiment with baseline protocol and build something on that. We also built extensions that are targeting specifically some of the DeFi data extraction. So there are some plugins that you can use and add to the node quite easily that connects to the transaction pool, to the block flows. Yeah, I think like in some cases, definitely for the faster things, maybe like the experimenting with beam sync. So each team is experimenting with various solutions, and I think that's what we pushed for: the baseline, the beam sync, a bit more DeFi data extraction. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So I hear I'm curious about baseline from an end user level, but I haven't really spent a lot of time looking at how it works. So I actually wasn't aware that Nethermind was integrated with baseline. So that's very exciting. I'll have to give it a new look. So thank you.
Thank you.
So regarding the POAP issuance, the thing seems to be working now. There was a delay and things are running slow, but apparently it is working.
Great. So we're going to, does that mean we're switching to Colfax to talk about, so we got claiming.
Well, I can tell you.
Actually, it's you. You're going to talk about POAP art, right? If we're up.
I thought it was Sam. What I just wanted to point out is that someone is drawing a penis. Who would have thought that this was going to happen?
I can definitely help draw.
Are you, Sam, sharing your screen and looking how you draw?
Yeah, sure. Does somebody have a quick link for me to jump into the canvas and I can show how?
It's berlin.poap.art. You must have claimed your POAP before, have you?
Yes, I just have. Let me just get that pulled up here. Okay, so here I have berlin.poap.art coming up here. I may need a little bit of help here because I'm new to this too. So can somebody talk me through this? I do have my wallet connected and I have claimed the POAP.
You have to scroll down or open the canvas.
I'm not able to scroll down. This is all I have right now.
Could you refresh with no cache control there?
Oh, there we go. Okay, great. So hopefully you saw at the bottom of my canvas or the bottom of the screen there, I was able to scroll down and click the canvas. It looks like tons of people are drawing already. This is very exciting. So in order to participate in drawing this, all you need to do is connect your wallet, which I've already done. There will be instructions on that if you haven't. Then you choose this option here, sign and participate. So I've done that through MetaMask. Very, very easy. Looks like it is loading up. And I've already claimed the POAP that we just talked through with Unvedica's design. So that is loading. And now I'm in. So the way that you use this, it's very cool. You simply, basically, we're going to be drawing individual pixels one at a time. It looks like there are many, many other people already participating on this. Looks like maybe a very cool Ethereum logo getting put right into the middle of the screen there. So I am going to maybe put, work on this Berlin that somebody else is writing here. So I'm going to pick a similar green using this pixel selector over here on the far right. And I can just start clicking right into individual pixels. Hopefully I'm not going to be scaring this person too much. Now we're both contributing to the exact same art piece here. So the idea is that everybody will go to berlin.poap.art that would like to participate. And if you, as long as you have this POAP, you should be able to get in and start selecting individual pixels to draw onto this canvas. So hopefully, Patricio, that gets you everything that you wanted to cover.
Yeah, thank you very much.
This is really the first view that anyone is getting of POAP.art. And so soak it in. It is what we call, it's real life collaborative art. And Patricio, what's going to happen at the conclusion of this session?
I'm finding too hard to concentrate because I want to see what people are drawing, and someone has just put ETHScan on the corner. Unfortunately, Ethereum doesn't seem to be getting ETHScan support anytime soon. So our plan regarding this canvas, we want to have it open for a couple hours, maybe until there's no more white space, and then minting on an artistic NFT and put it for action on the foundation action house, and the proceeds from the sale, we would be minting 2 NFTs. One is going to be given for free or offered. I'm sorry, it's too early and I wasn't prepared for this. So the plan is to mint 2 NFTs. Because everything is so experimental, we just don't know how this is going to work and whether it's going to go the way we want. But the idea then, we mint 2 NFTs. One is the first prize of the raffle, and the other one is to be actioned, and the action proceeds, goes to the ETHStaker fund for educational purposes. So we will be announcing that once it's finished. We would love to have your support there. It's completely unpredictable. It's very nice drawings people are doing. This is exciting. So stay tuned to our media channels. We will be sharing more information. I'd like to see an Argentinian flag. That's not surprise because I've been getting help from my Argentinian friends. I see a synthetics logo. I see some sort of CryptoPunk. And yeah, and could someone update on how are blocks coming? How far are we from the actual fork?
Yeah, it's like 40 minutes, 188 blocks right now.
And did we get a free back? Maybe we can have his thoughts on the hard fork.
Let me see. He's not here, but I'll message him.
It's awesome that yesterday there was so much collaboration going on between groups like who wanted to create these masterful artworks, and what it ends up that we're seeing mostly are you know, the early signs of just little graffiti, the hellos and the 420s. So it's so amusing. Like, I love to see how this unfolds. So Patricio and Patricio's team, I'm wildly impressed by POAP.art. I can't wait to see how that unfolds and develops in time. Now, this is just the first public preview. Things are going to continue to improve and smooth out as we go on. But I'm confident that it's going to be a really fun and long-standing product. So awesome. Thank you.
Yes, so a couple housekeeping info. You can get these calls POAP, the Berlin one, until the YouTube live stream finished. And then the canvas is going to write a little longer. But make sure you send the Berlin word to the bot, so you can keep drawing and you can participate in the raffle. Let's see how many people have joined the raffle already. Could we check that, Colfax?
Yeah, check right now.
I need to join the raffle.
Yeah, make sure to join the raffle. It's an exciting one today.
What was the number of it?
156. So here, I'll post that.
Anyone who holds a POAP, even if you don't hold a POAP, anyone can create a POAP.fun Raffle. So one of the things that you probably don't know about POAP is it's an extremely open environment. So if you want to create a POAP, it's a breeze. You go to poap.xyz/admin/events, create a POAP. There's no login. You'll get an email code, and you can actually you need to then message Patricio to receive links, and that's just kind of a gatekeeping feature. But anyone can set up a POAP, and then if you have POAPs or you want to somehow hold a raffle just for fun, just to see how it works, you can go to POAP.fun and create your own raffle. And again, no login. You just set it up, let it go through the process. You could do 15 a day if you were bored. It won't hurt anything. Just to play with these tools, it's so open. It's just maybe something that a lot of people haven't discovered the potential of yet. So I encourage you to give these things a try.
So there's a good bunch of people on the raffle already, so we know the things at least worked for many.
Yeah, there's a ton of people joined. This is great. And for those on YouTube, I just posted lots of comments coming in, but I just posted the link here. I'll post it again so you guys will see it come through.
Thank you, Ben, for joining. Hopefully you got the POA in time.
Yes, sir. Always. See you soon.
See you. So we are planning on holding different canvases to celebrate upcoming events. So this is the first, and it might go a little clunky, but it is the plan to keep improving and building a canvas for everyone. And this is amazing. If we can go back to the canvas for a minute, Michael, it would be nice to put it on the stream for those watching on YouTube.
Yeah, I would be content just to just to muse on that display for a while.
Someone is trying to draw what it looks like a Portugal flag on the top left corner, and it's going well. And someone loves avocado. Oh, and there's an ETHStaker with a love icon. That's kind of you. I wish I could know who you are.
Whoa! I turned away from the canvas for like 2 minutes, and it has.
And now it's full of pixels. Yeah.
It doesn't even look like the same thing anymore. That's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And there's a crown on top of the ether thing. Anyone on the Zoom, this is a good time for sharing any thought you have. Since it's so hard to get you, Adrian, how does it feel this hard for you? Does it impact your work in any way?
No, I mean, the Berlin upgrade is the ETH1 side of things, so it's pretty calm for me at the moment. Technically, I'm a Besu contributor, but I've been neglecting it because I've been so focused on Teku. So there's a great team of people who are not getting to play around with POAPs and sitting on these calls, and they're actually doing all the proper monitoring. But yeah, I've got a number of systems up and kind of keeping the dashboards up as well. So
something worth mentioning on the upcoming ETH2 upgrade calls that I'm sure you will be taking too seriously, we will have deterministic upgrade times, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I can't explain you how annoying it was a hardship to coordinate this thing, because not knowing when it's going to happen has been so expensive on resource allocation and handling. So thank you very much for making them deterministic. Do you have an estimation of when Altair is happening?
Altair is probably mid-year somewhere. Client teams are working on it now. So I know that Teku and I think Lighthouse are both passing all the reference tests. There's still some networking stuff to be sorted out, but I'm hoping that we'll be able to run Teku on an Altair specific network and run through that on a like a private test net in the next week or so and be effectively ready to go. And then we go through the whole big testing, cross-client kind of process. We'll roll it out on probably Piedmont first so that we can see it on a big scale. That will probably be chaos because so many validators kind of just get ignored on Piedmont. There's nothing actually at stake. And, but you know, we'll see how it goes in terms of the split. As long as we only get the not upgraded ones and the upgraded ones, that's fine. Yeah, and then roll on to mainnet. So there's a lot of factors that are still hard to predict in terms of the exact timing of that, but it's kind of progressing along pretty well.
Pretty cool. So we also have the privilege of having Harith from Etherscan here. And I'm sure this is quite stressful for Etherscan because it's like Etherscan has become the canonical way to check, to explore the network. And you have the huge responsibility that if the network halts, you have to communicate this to the people. How does it feel on the Etherscan headquarters, Harith?
Yeah, we just did a bunch of releases. I think a couple of them are supporting the new changes for Berlin. So hopefully nothing breaks or anything like that. We've tested on our part, but things can always go a bit crazy. And you'll see if you go on Etherscan, you'll see a bunch of UI changes as well. Just it's actually more coincidence, but since it's about the same time as Berlin, I'm gonna say we timed it just for Berlin. And if you see anything there that you want to give feedback on, please feel free to give. But yeah, we're all working very hard to make sure we do everything for the entire ecosystem. Yeah.
Someone has made a good question for you on the Zoom chat. Are you able to see it?
Oh, well, I definitely do not know how to draw the logo. So if anyone knows how to, please, I would be very much appreciative if you can do that.
Have you seen the many other logos there? There's a pulled together one, Venezuela flag.
Yeah, I'm trying to do one for my own meetup group right now. Hopefully it doesn't get taken up.
Well, good luck with that. let's check the raffle. There's like 200 people already on it.
I want to say something really exciting about this canvas, and that is that I wasn't sure. Like Patricio has been excited about it, and I've watched it evolve, and I was like, I don't know, like it's a cool idea, but I don't know if people will really kind of get into this graffiti wall development idea. And he's like, no, just wait and watch. And I'm like, okay, I will. I trust Patricio's judgment, and so I've kind of gone along with him. And now seeing this, I'm like, oh shit, it's happening. And so it's just so this kind of serves as an affirmation that what we hoped would be possible given the state of modern technology, with claiming the POAPs and assigning appropriate access to a canvas and letting those people just collaborate, really does have the potential to give us a new form of art. So 10 minutes ago, I was like, oh, this is, I see some butts and I see a 420. But just watching this explode this morning is just really exciting. So again, it's not that am I promoting POAP to art? Yes, I think it's cool, but it's not my ultimate thing. I'm very happy that it's working out. So that's all. Sorry.
So one of the reasons we launched POAP Art on this call is because these countdown parties are important, because it's important to watch the network, and if something goes bad, it could go very bad. But because we don't have an agenda and it's a relaxed time, we thought, why don't we chill while we paint something? And then I want to ask Mariano, is it you drawing the River Plate jersey, or is it someone else?
Yeah, it was me, but somebody started writing love just beneath it, and I don't want to.
But you are defending your territory, right?
So I don't know what to do. I think I'm gonna merge the two, maybe.
The love and river, makes sense. Yeah,
it does.
I'm liking the Portugal flag. It's looking nice. Let's see if I can vandalize it.
Is there a tool people can use to draw, or do they actually draw with the mouse clicking, or like?
We haven't allowed yet API access.
Okay.
The plan is to do it in the future, but for now they are all clicking with their mouses. and pick. It does have sounds, in case someone didn't notice. It does have sounds. So let's review the prices of the raffle. So the winner of the raffle gets the option of getting the NFT of this artwork or 1 Ether. And it's really a tough question, because like how would you know? If you don't get the Ether, you're assuming that you're pretty much buying this for 1 Ether. And the question is, do someone think that this is worth 1 Ether? And that's hard to tell, because you can at any time you can take a screenshot of it. But holding the real thing, the first POAP art, could be so important, so fundamental in the history of collective art. We are planning on doing POAP art at a scale. So let's say that you go to the final of the soccer World Cup, and in between the match, different factions start drawing, and could you imagine if you could see the POAP art canvas of the France 1998 World Cup final? It would be cool. So maybe this very first POAP canvas end up being way more expensive than 1 Ether, or not. We hope it does, because the funds, we have some different ideas to put the funds to work on ETHStaker. So it's hard to tell. But it's looking nice. Well, Rocket Wolf has taken a nice place on it. I mean, again, not super surprising, but nice. Syntax is still standing. There seems to be a Switzerland flag, also not too surprising given how many Swiss people we have in the community. It's quite little. There's some. It's nearing the Ether, the POAP naming.
I would like to shout out to whoever is adding FIDs over there on the right above ETHStaker, because I would definitely love to alter this canvas this morning and mark it, but I'm doing something else. So shout out to whoever is doing that. You are my friend for the day.
There's a Mexican flag. Is it you, KTL15? Yeah. Are you online, KTL?
Oh, I see reality cards coming in.
Well,
Do you see that?
I wonder who the Mexican flag is. No, I don't see reality
sorry.
cards yet.
It's under Rocket Pool.
Oh yeah, and it's looking nice.
Very impressed with the avocado, the bottom left.
Well, who doesn't like avocado?
Is that an XRP logo on the left side?
Start over.
So-
New canvas.
As co-leader, I'm like, should we just enjoy POAP.art or should we talk about what was it, Berlin?
Yeah, sorry. Let's go back to Berlin and the subjects on the agenda. How far are we from the fork? And who's monitoring the actual fork? Because it's clearly that I'm not.
It's about 26 minutes away. Still 183 blocks, I think, as long as this browser's updating, which it is.
Thank you very much, Adrian. There's a little Belgian flag. There's a Greece flag.
Grey Wizard, you just said, was it how many minutes?
26, I think.
26. I am, can we do Daniel Huang now? Is it okay? Does anybody have any objections? Are you ready, Daniel?
Yeah, sure. Was Inan gonna also talk a bit before me, or?
Well, we can talk together about it. I mean, you did the main research there, so maybe you can introduce like what the work was and what the idea behind the whole transparency stuff was for Ethereum too.
Let me tell you how I know why this is exciting to me, and then I will lead into you guys. If you guys know my persona, you know, as Superfizz, I mean, it's really who I am too, but you know, honestly, Superfizz is a persona for my online world. I am what I consider myself the Beacon Chain Health Coordinator. And so everything that I do online is committed toward developing the health of the Beacon Chain. And so in those interactions, Daniel Huang reached out to me and just sort of started chatting. And number one, he's a great guy to talk to, but he shares many of the same passions that I do for promoting the health and positive development of the Beacon Chain. And our focuses are slightly different. My focus, I think, would be on encouraging home stakers, encouraging network decentralization. And I do that mostly through building community. Daniel is working in a slightly different direction. He's working to improve transparency of the Ethereum 2 network so that if you can see what it's doing, then you can improve things that need to be improved. And so there's a great synergy there. And while our relationship hasn't matured that much yet, I really look forward to the things that he brings. And so personally, for me, this is one of the highlights of the call today. So thanks for coming on, Dan. And Buddha, you guys take it away.
Sure. Maybe I just start with like how Beacon Chain itself tried to get more transparency on the chain. Back on the testnets, we allowed users to tag themselves. So basically by signing a message, you were able to give your validator a name. And with that idea, we want to have more transparency. So in case the network has issues, we knew who to message, and that helped a lot on the testnets. But on the mainnet, it's kind of different. There are more incentives, and people like to hide behind their indices. And in case something goes wrong, they'd rather stay anonymous instead of having their name on Twitter or whatever. And we are trying to incentivize, we're trying to make users that are staking on pools aware that those pools are like performing either bad or good by having our dashboard, but there is more to it. And I think Daniel can explain it a bit better than I can.
Yeah. So yeah, I had actually, so I work at Stakefish and a POS validator doing the protocol and governance stuff. But internal at Stakefish, we had kind of been looking at how kind of the validator set would kind of be established and how we can kind of get a sense of like the current state of decentralization. And I had initially reached out to Inan at and as well as Superfizz later, but was trying to see if there could be some sort of initiative that would be independent from validator service providers that could kind of shed light on the current state of decentralization, at least among large service providers beyond that of the kind of like the individual stakers. And so I think also kind of like the terminology for kind of what a validator was, I guess compared to like Ethereum 2.0 beacon chain versus some of the other networks that we had been have been validating, was a small source of confusion as we have kind of like these effective 32 ETH balances. And so we kind of set out to kind of demystify some of that, right? And have a good understanding of what a validator is between like the non-custodial, custodial, and independent setups. So I wrote a 3-part series on Ethereum decentralization transparency, basically stressing the point that we need to have a good understanding of the validator set, and in essence, a sort of kind of like the rankings for which validator service provider, in addition to like kind of like the individual setups that we have, are taking up certain percentages of the total amount staked. And as Inan had kind of mentioned, right, it has been, at least on as we've seen, mostly voluntary. I think it was really cool to see on Beacon Chain the ability to kind of use graffiti and then kind of show that. And then we had, at least at Stakefish, been signing it like that as well. But there are also other kind of large service providers that have elected not to show themselves, which I think is kind of like a different kind of MO that other people have. But I think what's important to kind of note in that sense is that, right, transparency perhaps can sometimes be conflated with kind of either kind of like doxing yourself or kind of revealing too much information about yourself as a large service provider to certain kind of like security measures. And I think that kind of, at least in the security engineering kind of field, right, that is the concept of like security through obscurity, where if you don't kind of reveal yourself to the system, then you kind of can be safe from that, from any malicious activity. But I would say that like there are benefits and then there are pros and cons between those two, where if you are able to have a clear sense of kind of what's going on, who is who controls a certain amount, let's say of stake or has that aggregate stake, then you can have a better understanding of kind of like those principles of what we're trying to seek in terms of the scalability trilemma that we're looking at solving on the ETH2 beacon chain. And even I would say like we can go as far as to say that like that concept of security through obscurity is actually something that is not necessarily as important, especially if we are kind of considering the complete state of the system, right? There's like a variety of, I guess, quotes that kind of point to the other direction, right? Especially in these sorts of open source systems, right? There's a good quote by Claude Shannon where, right, it's basically the enemy should know, and the enemy knows the system, as well as like, you know, Kirchhoff's principle, where it's like a crypto system, at least in this case, for the transparency, right? The system should be secure even if everything about the system, except for at least like the keys, is public knowledge. And in that, like, I was basically claiming that in these types of open source systems, we should have the assumption that everyone is going to be, everyone meaning some of the validator service providers and even validators themselves, should be revealed to each other, as we had kind of seen in the Witty testnet when, like, I think Johnny Rhea had kind of was able to pretty trivially kind of expose what other validators kind of were available. And so, right, I was saying that we should basically design systems under the full assumption that all of us, validator service providers included, are going to gain familiarity with who we are, even without us kind of revealing ourselves. So, I mean, I think it's eventually going to happen where we are able to kind of see who is who. And we've kind of seen that with the self-tagging on Beacon Chain, as well as with other independent and third-party tools like Nansen, right? And so I presented on this at basically on ETH Denver, and had kind of summed up saying, right, this privacy affords this types of security through obscurity at the expense of decentralization transparency. And so part of the series was kind of investigating what that transparency could look like, and then ended the series with kind of a couple initiatives that I think had kind of spawned from that, and or already had been kind of in the works for helping us see what is going on. So one of them was obviously the Beacon Chain from Inan's team. One of them was Nansen, and they had kind of graciously opened up their Ethereum 2 dashboard and a lot of their data and metrics for free behind the paywall. And then obviously another one has been like the ETHStaker initiative, where they do the kind of like their due diligence and kind of having a good understanding of like the pulse of what's going on. And then there were also other tentative potential measures from other individual researchers called like Rated.network, which was doing like an analysis on validator performance. But yeah, I mean, if you kind of take a quick look at, let's say, for example, like the now open and public Nansen dashboard, right? There's still a quite sizable unknown kind of percentage of the Ethereum 2 staked that we don't know of yet.
Do you think there's any way or a way to incentivize those people to identify themselves, or do I think if users themselves don't say anything or go out there and try to push it, the last 50% of the network will try to stay anonymous as long as they can. And like, what do you think will happen?
Yeah, I think that's definitely, it's kind of like what a lot of us were saying, right? That's like the tragedy of this, the open source commons, right? Like, it's like this bystander effect, right? It's everyone's responsibility and no one's responsibility at the same time. But yeah, I don't think there is like a very direct incentivization for people to reveal themselves, which is why there are certain large validator service providers who have not revealed themselves yet. Perhaps they are sticking to like the security through obscurity kind of perspective, but I think over time, eventually, perhaps it will kind of be revealed. I think you guys have like some pretty cool tools at Beacon Chain where, right, you have like the graffiti wall, right? Depending on what graffiti you can use, you can kind of identify yourself. You have kind of like the self-identification tool when you kind of want to reveal yourself. I think on other POS networks, right, there is sort of this self-identification, or kind of like the ego boost of like, if you are on a leaderboard, right, you can see how much stake someone has. Perhaps that is something that can be kind of created later. But yeah, it is also, I guess, somewhat of, right, the terminology difference in kind of how ETH2 is a bit different from other POS networks. Right? Because like even like on other POS networks, we've seen like foundations kind of support like leaderboard creation, right?
Yeah, as for the beacon chain itself, I'm a guy of incentives and trying to compare these staking pools. And let's say if someone is on staking pool A and they see that a public staking pool that has identified themselves is performing really well, then they will start questioning if they are actually on a pool that is performing as good as they do. And ideally, there are decentralized staking pools, such as the Rocket pool that will launch soon, that they perform even better. So the individual stakers on Rocket pool perform so good that people prefer solo staking instead of going to centralized pools. That would be the ideal scenario. But let's see how that's going to happen, like how that's going to roll out.
And this is kind of where I would love to hop in and talk about Fizz's priorities for staking. And I will always say that solo staking is the gold standard from home. Solo staking is the gold standard for staking. If you can stake solo at home, please do that. That is great. In that continuum would be something like decentralized, open source, and trustless staking pools. There are not any decentralized, trustless, and open source staking pools available yet. There's one in the pipeline, and I hope it works out well. But we also need competition for that pool. So we need a lot of open source, decentralized, and trustless staking pools. So if you're like, hey, I need to create a pool, do it that way. Below that, we would have more trusted staking pools where you kind of send a pool your funds and hope and cross your fingers that they manage those funds appropriately and that you get them back. I don't actually recommend using those pools. I don't think it's a great idea. And then below that, we have centralized staking through exchanges. And I would absolutely urge you not to send your funds to an exchange for staking, because they end up having more power than any entity should have on the network. And so if we give all of our staking funds to those exchange silos, then they have a disproportionate share of power over the network. So anyway, that would be my ranking. If you can find a service that is open source, trustless, and decentralized in the next few months or years, and you have less than 32 Ether, by all means stake with them. But right now is still the golden age for solo stakers, and it's okay. As a matter of fact, if you're just holding your ETH, the price is going up. You're in a great position. You are making, at this moment, I don't know what it's going to look like in 7 seconds. You're making a great return on your investment, so you don't have anything to panic about. In the future, there will be many more options for trustless, open, and decentralized staking opportunities. I want to thank Dan for focusing on this transparency issue. It's something that I have not put enough attention into, but I am so happy that he is continuing to push in that direction. And I really sense that he and I will end up spending more time together in the future as our work aligns.
So we are 600 seconds away from the fork.
Yeah.
I would like to know if Proto is listening. Proto Lambda, are you listening? How do you monitor the blocks as they come?
Isn't he just watching Vitalik's computer?
That was my question. I think these higher ups, well, Victor Bunin seems to be on a shed bridge. Are you on a shed bridge, sir? Well, have a very good flight. Hopefully by the time you land, well, it's 10 minutes away, so maybe you get to see it. Also, if the chain forks, you have to get off that plane and fix your infrastructure, right?
Absolutely.
So Victor Buning is a protocol specialist at Coinbase, and And if these forks doesn't go well, he's going to have such a bad time.
Stop the plane! I need to fix the chain!
Yeah, like guys, pull over, drop me off in Oakland or something. Nearest cafe with Wi-Fi.
We have a couple new faces. Let me make quick intros of Agustin Lavarello, who's one of the POAP core devs. Agustin, you can unmute and say.
Hi, how are you?
We have Santiago Echeverria, community manager of POAP.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
We are good. We have Wada. You might have seen Wada's work because she, for example, has done the POAP art design. Are you there, Wada?
Hello. How are you?
We're good. And I also want to make a quick mention. We have Francie, and with Francie Heintel, we plan on making different activities for DevCon. Hello, Francie. There she is.
Hey.
Francie leads the community at the Solidity team. She's been a great supporter of POAP for a long time. And if this canvas goes well, and it is going well, I see no pennies, so that's good. We may do something similar for the Road to DevCon initiative. So hopefully you all like it. And let's see how the vlogs are coming. So now we are 5 minutes away from the vlogs.
What is this purple colored diamond on the left of the ether symbol? I'm not familiar with that. With a yellow heart, maybe a yellow sun in the middle, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Where will we be viewing the? Are we going to be viewing a fork monitor? I mean, not that I expect a fork, but.
Yeah, that's a good idea, I think.
So, Michael, will you be bringing that up? So I want to acknowledge we are hearing concerns about POAP.art, whether it be claiming the Berlin POAP or getting a transaction to go through or accessing the wall. Please bear with us. This is the first time it is working. So a logic features here. The canvas is working, so that is fantastic. And I apologize if you're one of the people experiencing issues, but it's a learning experience for all of us, and everyone has done a great job getting this up and going. It is adding a lot of value and fun to the call.
Fizz, what was it that you wanted displayed?
I'm putting in the chat. It's forkmon.ethdevops.io.
Would it be? Is it possible for someone else to share? It's gonna mess some stuff with the stream if I do it.
Yeah, I'm sure Colfax could do that.
Yep, I'm on it.
Thank you,
Delegated.
sir. There's Logic Beach.
Yeah, so I can't wait. I don't know how many people plan to disappear after they've gotten their POAP or after the fork lol as foreshadowing after the upgrade. But I hope you will stick around because we have a couple more really exciting things. One of those is Logic Beach, who is going to share with us his new album puzzle. If you don't know what this is, it is really nerdy and exciting. So I hope you stick around to hear about Logic Beach's puzzle. And we'll probably do that right after this upgrade goes through. Wow, so the fork monitor. This page is a monitor for the ETH1 chain, and it basically tracks a bunch of nodes to find out if they're on the same chain. And if you scroll down, I think there's usually okay, so this is a visualization that shows what nodes are on what chain. And it's very common to see a momentary fork or uncle.
There was an uncle there, right?
I want to yeah, I think so. I want to ask if there are a lot of people on this call who can explain this better than I can. I haven't looked at Forkmon since the last event. Would someone like to step up and share what this page does more articulately than I might?
Yeah, what I think that it's important to see is that if by the time the hard forking block comes, we still keep seeing green, we are okay.
Yeah, that's basically. But there's more to derive for it from it. But yeah, essentially what we're looking for is continuity of the chain. I don't know the version for every, hey JK, I don't know the version for every client, but I know if you're updated to Geth 1.10, then when we hit the magical block, your client will continue on the correct chain. If your node software is not updated correctly, and there's probably going to be 5 or 8% of the network that's not updated correctly, if one of those clients mines a block that that's not consistent with the rules of the new client, then they will begin a fork. And it would not be surprising to see a few forks that go on for a few blocks, 1 or 2 blocks. But really, we don't expect any problems. It's likely that everyone or enough people have upgraded the pools have upgraded. And in every likelihood, we're not even going to notice anything unusual. It's one of the reasons that the upgrade is probably not the most exciting event. Like, it's just going to go on.
About 30 seconds to go.
How many seconds?
30.
Oh, wow. All right.
3 blocks.
And note that this is not actually clock based. This is block based. So if a block is slow, or fast, things can happen very quickly or very slowly.
So one thing that's important to note with that fork monitor is that there is deliberately an old version of Geth in there. So you will likely see a bunch of red because it will follow the wrong fork. And that lets you see which one's which. If you've got the same block as that old Geth, you're wrong. And that is the Berlin block has just appeared, I think.
Yes. We should try to get Adrian more often.
I like dashboards.
I mean, having an expert on this make us feel so confident.
Oh, we're already 2 blocks after the fork.
Great. Is it time to cheer?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Well, so there are some repricing of some quite popular opcodes, which likely means that blocks will differ straight away. In fact, it's S-store, so blocks will differ straight away. You can guarantee S-store is going to be used in transactions in these blocks. So if everything's following it, that's a really good sign. And pretty much all of them have gone past the fork block now. So Besu, Nethermind, New Geth, the Open Ethereum that the fork monitor is running died a while back. There's just something wrong with that node. It's not a problem with Open Ethereum. And pretty much all the rest of them are fine. They're all the different providers. So it looks like it's gone really successfully so far. There will be some time afterwards where some of the new features and some of the changes get exercised in different corner cases and things like that. So it might not be that we fork immediately. Well, we didn't fork immediately. We may still find bugs with later blocks. And the longer this goes on, the more confidence we have that it's all working well and there aren't any missed bugs.
It's notable that the old Geth is not hitting the new blocks, but I noticed that parity is missing them also.
Yes, I don't know. Well, so if that is actually parity, then it probably hasn't been updated. Because parity became Open Ethereum.
That's right. I'm sorry. I still call Open Ethereum parity. I guess that's my. That makes perfect sense too.
So what that does tell us, though, and it's quite good, is that the vast majority of miners have switched over. So nobody mining on the old chain has found a new block yet. Otherwise, that old Geth would have picked it up. Now, I'll guarantee you that at some point a block turns up there. But for now, it looks like the vast majority of mining has switched over correctly.
Awesome. Hey, so what a lot of people are worried about right now is the transaction fee issue. And gas right now is 74. That's stellar. Will users expect to see any improvement in gas prices because of the 4 EIPs in this upgrade?
No. I think is the summary. So it helps in some ways in that things are rebalanced. So the S-Store prices and state access prices, I'm not sure if it's actually S-Store, but state access has been increased. So you may actually see some transactions cost more. One opcode got reduced to bring it in line. What that primarily does is actually improve security, because if you can, the gas prices and the timings and sizes are all set based on the idea that gas is evenly spread across the operations, that the amount of time it takes your node to process it is some amount of gas, and that's even across operations. So that was out of balance, and that meant it was possible previously to create a block that could take minutes to process, because you kind of shove in these underpriced operations, and it didn't cost you as much as it really should have. So that kind of loophole's been closed with this change in gas pricing. But ultimately, the gas pricing is really set based on the supply and demand of transactions. And given that we haven't increased the block gas limit, and so there's no new supply effectively, we're not really going to see a change in that.
Sure. And so the next network upgrade that we're looking for is London, and that's happening in July. And Adrian, you're doing a great job sharing it. I don't know if anyone else wants to hop in also. Will London have any impact on the transaction fees that users pay when they're using the network?
I'll keep going. So the big thing that's kind of the anchor feature for London is EIP 1559. That is not primarily about reducing gas prices, but it does have the advantage that it makes them a lot more predictable, and you're much less likely to overpay for gas price because the oracle you happen to go to predicted it wrong. So it is about the usability of that more than anything. But depending on how things actually play out and how much people are overpaying for gas now versus what they could have paid to get into a block, potentially there's some benefit there. But ultimately, it's things like layer 2 that are really going to affect gas prices and the roll-ups and things like that will give us more supply and thus reduce the pressure and reduce the gas price.
Awesome, thanks for sharing. So the big picture is Berlin does not affect transaction price. London is likely to affect transaction prices, but what we really need to look forward to as a community is looking for other scaling solutions like L2 and really be willing to hop onto those when they appear. And I see now that the raffle is about to begin in about 90 seconds. Patricio, or Colfax, I'm sorry. Colfax, can you tell us, remind us, and maybe even scroll down and show us what the prizes for the raffle are?
For sure. So the raffle, as you can see here, is going to kick off in just over a minute. Thank you so much for that explanation, by the way, Adrian. That was super interesting. Lots to look forward to. So with the raffle, something even more immediate to look forward to. Just to review the prizes here. First prize, you'll have a choice of one of the 2 minted NFTs from the POAP.art canvas, or 1 Ether. Second prize, you'll get whatever the first person doesn't choose. Third prize, you'll get 0.1 ETH. Fourth and fifth prize, you'll both get a POAP pin, just like this one I'm wearing here. They're pretty awesome. I love mine. We'll mail that to you. So as you can see here, tons of people have joined the raffle. This is really exciting. I'm going to go over the selection mechanism real quick. So the way that the raffle actually works, it's pretty cool, and you'll see it unfold here in a second, but it's an elimination process. So what actually happens behind the scenes is the amount of gas used in a particular Ethereum block as it happens, the last digit in that block is the important digit. So remember I said your raffle entry has a number here. Pay attention to your last digit and say if the amount of gas used in the last block was, I don't know, 11, which is obviously not going to be true. The last number is going to be 1. So as you can see here, the last digit here is a 9. So everybody with the last digit 9 in their numbers just got eliminated. So it looks like, fortunately, I'm still in the running here. And so as the blocks progress, more gas numbers will pop up here and more people will be eliminated. And if we scroll down, we can see the leaderboard. So these people have all gotten eliminated. You see all their last digit is 9. So let's scroll back up to the top. Another block will come in here shortly, and then we'll eliminate another bunch of people. And so as you can imagine, eventually everyone's going to have the same last number. And when that happens, we'll bump to the next number in the ID for the raffle entry. And it looks like it's been a few seconds since we've had a block. I'm wondering if that maybe it's just a syncing thing for POAP, or if it's
it is not
the network.
It's not that unusual. There
Cool.
we go. A 66-second block. I remember it's much easier on Ethereum, but before Ethereum, back in the Bitcoin days, like you needed a 10-minute block, and it would inevitably be like a 38-minute block, and you're like, oh, I just need one.
Yep. So it looks like I just got eliminated, unfortunately, because there was a 0 as the last digit. Another 9, so not too many people, probably nobody got eliminated on that one. You can see here, this is a leaderboard piling up. So as you can imagine, since it's an elimination system, eventually there's going to be fewer and fewer people that are still eligible. And when it really gets exciting is when it whittles down to like about 10, you're like, okay, there's a 50% chance I'm going to win something, and then 9, then 8. And it's pretty exciting. So,
Patricio, is this the most stress that's been put on your tool suite?
Not exactly, but it hasn't been holding up very well. We will have to review our procedures because I see some people are very upset. The chain apparently hasn't kept up with the XI chain, the network we use, hasn't kept up. So you can be sure that we will work to do better next time.
Yeah, on one hand,
it's growing pains.
These tools you've created and funded are awesome, and they're great contributions to the community. On the other hand, I know how I would feel if I couldn't get in, and so for anyone who's having difficulty, you have our sincerest sympathies. And at the same time, we're just here to have fun. So don't sweat it. It's okay. There will be a lot of other opportunities. Things will continue to improve. None of this was even possible months or years ago. So it's all bleeding edge stuff.
How many people in the raffle? Still a lot?
Still a lot, yeah.
So let's talk about the canvas because it won't be lasting too long. I think we will be freezing it once the live stream is over, and since the network seems to be humming along, keep protecting your creations on the canvas, and maybe you make it to the permanent ones.
I would like to say it's awesome. I don't see anything inappropriate here, but I come from an education background, and I love for kids to have access to things, especially in schools. So if you can help us to ensure there's nothing inappropriate on this when it's done, when it's minted, that will mean that it will have greater reach and greater access, especially for things like kids in schools who might have an opportunity to learn about POAP.art. So I recognize the fun aspect, but keeping this family friendly makes things better for all of us. So, and great job. I love the work in it. I can't wait to get up close and check out everything on it.
There's someone that has drawn a huge gradient, like we're on the Mexico flag. That must have taken so much effort. And there hasn't been much vandalism, I see.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I count about 46 POAPs remaining.
Cool.
Oh no, my Fizz is getting attacked.
Oh wow.
Please protect Fizz. ETHStaker staying strong.
29 people left, it looks like.
Let's see who are out. America is 28th.
Oh, I'm out.
South.
All right, call's over, boys. I'm out.
Yep, I think I just got
Agustin Lavarella is out.
I think I'm in still.
Renee is
All
out.
right.
I love to see.
Harith is out.
I thought you were serious, Superfish.
About what?
You said, raffle's over, I'm out.
Oh no. Well,
I just missed it. I just missed the entry.
Now there's only 15.
ENS makes a lot of this fun. And so if you want to go to, I think it's app. I don't remember the site to register in ENS, but that's how you get your name to show up on these raffle sites where you can see like Kahlo and Malone. ENS kind of makes this more fun for everyone. And I wouldn't suggest like using your main wallet, but, and with gas prices, it can actually be more than $100 to register in ENS unless you wait till gas is really low and you can maybe slip one in cheaper. But if you're collecting POAPs, and if you have like a POAP specific wallet, it does make it more fun in the long run to use ENS. I've been using nifty.inc, nifty.ink lately, and shout out to that team. But it's so great to see user-generated art connected with an ENS there.
The URL is ens.domains, I believe. So if you go over there, it'll direct you to the app, and then you can go ahead and snag yours. Looks like we have just 11 people left, and you can see all of them end in 5. So there's still 3, 5, 7, 5.
Yeah, could
9,
you
5,
open
1,
any
5.
collection to see who they are?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, that last one wipes him out, so we got 5 POAPs left.
Oh. Here, I'll just swing back over to the main page so we don't miss the big moment. 5 POAPs left, so everybody still remaining is now a winner.
James Carley almost made it. I wish I really wanted him to win. I don't think I wanted anyone else to win more than James Carley.
So close. See, it looks like, yeah, XDie is a little slow still, but...
That might be our server, actually, instead of the network. So which numbers are we waiting? We need a 4 to knock down the third one. Well, actually, all of them here have won something.
Everybody's won something, yeah. So we have 3 5s and 7 5s left. So if we get a 3 or a 7, that'll knock out some more people. How do you, this is actually an interesting question. How do you deal with tiebreakers, Patricio?
It goes to the next number to the left.
Okay, cool. So if a 3 comes up right now, then we'll compare it to the next number? Okay, perfect.
Yep, we have 3s and 7s. I was over here defending my Fizz territory because I had a second off the call, and I wanted to point out that you can actually right-click on a any pixel and find out what user created that pixel, which makes this even more interesting for investigation.
Really surprised the little S I drew like an hour and a half ago is still there.
Nice.
I'm happy to see some of the things that were being planned, like the ETH in the center and the rocket pool. I am so bummed out that I slept through my alarm.
And so this is Logic Beach, and I actually look forward to talking to him in just a few minutes as soon as this is over. Logic Beach busted his butt in the POAP.art Discord to organize a bunch of these things, and so much of it just went really well. And
I'm very pleased with how the ETH turned out in the center. Whoever made that happen, you guys are awesome.
Must have been DeFi, dude.
Yeah.
By the way, we are planning on freezing the canvas very soon. Oh, something happened in the raffle. I wonder who they are.
POAP pin winners. Let's see.
Oh, that's a good winner right there.
Yeah, this is awesome. So let's see. Let's try and figure out who these people are. This opens an Etherscan.
Yeah, there are improvements to be made on POAP.fun, as you see.
No, yeah.
We will make them someday.
No, I mean, the whole suite of POAP tools is just.
Okay, so one of the winners is an OG. He has a 3-digit POAP. Like, this is an impressive collection. It has to be someone that I know well. Maybe Alex Viñas. I think Alex, the guy from Spain, has won a pin because his collection, let me share it into the chat so it can be shared.
You can see that Patricio is able to look at a POAP collection and have a good idea who someone is. That really goes two ways. In one way, it helps POAP begin to be a sort of identity and validity sort of system. In another way, if you keep all of your stash in that POAP wallet, it can help people know more about you than you'd want them to know. So one of the things I'd suggest, if you're very privacy conscious, is that you set up a separate wallet for POAP than your main Ethereum holding. And then you can begin to build an identity that's not directly linked to your assets. It's just good hygiene.
Yeah, that's a good point, because like one of the winners has like $200,000 on their account.
There we go, and the raffle is complete.
Woo!
Hey, let's see who.
Do we see any other ENS? No ENSs.
So this winning wallet 155535, they will. Oh, I'm sorry. They will receive one of 2 copies of this artwork that is just turning out to be beautiful. And of course, the other one will be auctioned off. That's for ETHStaker? Or is that the idea?
Yeah, the proceeds of the auction are solely for ETHStaker this time. I'm trying to see who the winner is. So the winner had only one other POAP of Pull Together. So he must be one that was drawing the Pull Together logo on the canvas. And the second one has a Serenity Launch POAP, which is nice, and Rocket Pool Tokenomics, I think. Well, so this has been very cool. Are you all okay if we freeze the canvas now?
I checked. Fizz is intact, so I am okay with the freeze.
Then we are freezing, I think. I like how it came. As you said, it's family friendly.
Awesome. So the raffle is done. We have a winner. The canvas is being frozen. I would like now to turn to my friend Logic Beach. And so Logic Beach, he's actually an IRL friend. And he, well, I won't tell you what he's doing, but let me begin by saying that he is one of the sharpest people that I know, and he creates puzzles. And he also is responsible for helping to organize a lot of this POAP.art collaboration. So Logic Beach, will you tell us why we're excited to see you this morning?
Yeah, other than the fact that I actually woke up. Over the last few months, and I've done this before, but let me just try to organize the crazy thoughts of this morning. Basically what I've created is an album, like a music album of 7 songs and 7 music videos to go with them. That's not that great all in its own for this community, but this album is an Ethereum wallet. So I have embedded, and this is the alpha leak, I have embedded 11 words in this album. So I'm offering this on the Pirate Bay and other places. Like, I'm offering it for sale, but at the same time I'm giving it away for free for anybody that doesn't want to pay for it or can't. So anyone in the world has a chance to download this album, and between the album, the music videos, and the album cover, find the 11 words that I have hidden. I have also embedded the order somewhere in there. I'm not going to say where, but they can also find the order for those 11 and calculate the 12th. That's the alpha leak. There's 1 ETH inside this album, and the first person to crack it and sweep the key gets the ETH. Yeah, I believe, and I searched around a little bit, I'm the first person in the world to do this. So that's pretty exciting. This is the second time I've actually done this. Last year in May, for the Bitcoin halvening, I released an album with a similar idea, but a little bit, I won't say simpler, because it actually took a lot longer for them to solve the puzzle than I imagined. But I guess simpler in terms of I finished it in like a month. I've been working on this one for the past 6 months off and on, so it's a little bit more complicated, but I think it overall has a lot higher production value and is going to be really exciting to release. So this comes out on hold on a second, April 23rd at 17 UTC. So I guess that's noon my time. So just try to make it kind of a fair timed release for as many people as I can. I mean, I know that it's probably an entire hemisphere where it's going to be very late, but April 23rd, 12.
We kind of assume this will take days, weeks, or months to solve. Is that because I know as a puzzle creator, it's difficult to know, it's difficult to target the length of time it might take to solve a puzzle.
Right, and I had some perspective on this one. When creating the first one, I was like, okay, this will be solved in a day. Somebody will do this in a day. And yeah, it didn't dawn on me that, you know, I was so enveloped in the puzzle, I assumed it was easy. But no, it wasn't. So I have that perspective. I'm thinking it could probably take that long this time. I am not really going to release hints out of the door, but I have a timeline in mind that I'll share down the road if it comes like if it becomes necessary. I have things that I will share as time goes on.
Are you ready to disclose the prize wallet?
What do you mean by that? Like the address? Or?
Yes, the public address.
Yeah, it's actually on the album cover. Let me. Can I share my screen?
Let me make sure you have access for that. And the reason I'm asking that is, if you check out this puzzle, if you like it, if you like Logic Beach's work, so I would say if you want to contribute to his work, you can contribute directly to him. But if you want to contribute to the fun of the puzzle, then you can go ahead and make a deposit here to encourage people to participate. These puzzles are just awesome, and there's so much that I cannot solve. Like the only thing I could solve, I could brute force the last digit of the seed phrase. Are we going to pull that up? There's a great Python brute forcer out there that I use to roll my own keys. So when you said that, I was like, ah.
Yeah, and actually my decision to make it so people had to solve for the 12th was actually sort of inspired by, I didn't want people to have too easy of a time trying to brute force the private key. Just with, you know, if they have the order and they had a few words, I don't want them to just try to brute force the rest. I know that they could still do it, but I think it adds a little bit more difficulty or time required. Like, I'd rather somebody solve this the way that I intended rather than just like gaming the game and just like brute forcing it. I know somebody will probably do that. I know that last time there was a group of people that were trying and they were getting close. They were telling me, like sending me messages, and I couldn't reply, but they were like, here's all the words I have. This must not be solvable. I'm like, holy crap, you're so close. You know, it was very fun to watch. Like, that's probably the best part about this for me, is just like watching people try to solve it. It feels like I'm torturing people sometimes though. I'm like, oh my God. Wow.
I see this prize address as F8 F99, and it has an ETH in it. Now that's not the same address as your logicbeach.eth, right?
No, logicbeach.eth is my vanity address. I had to create a burner wallet for this. Obviously, I didn't want it to be connected.
I can see how that might be a little bit confusing from that graphic, but yeah.
Ooh, you know, I hadn't really considered that. But yeah, good point. I mean, you're right, because logicbeach.eth to any of us would be like, oh, that must be what that QR code is an address for. But no, it isn't.
Yeah,
the QR is actually for the wallet address, and that is my vanity address below, which actually is the name of the album. If you read this article, I just decided I had another name in mind, but I wanted to clean it up a little bit, make it a little more PG. So I was like, you know what, let's just call it .eth. That way it'll play into the ENS.
Cool. My hope is to continue visiting with you as we go through, as this evolves, as you get desperate and are ready to leak clues. So thanks for sharing with that. I hope it gets a lot of attention and interaction, just because it's fun.
Yeah, I just wanted to say a few more things real quickly. We're underwriting on local, and I say local stations, like cool underground stations around the country and stuff. And so there's 7, let me just describe it. There's 7 music videos that go, or 1 music video per song, right? So the 7 music videos that will release at the same time on YouTube. That's also very important. If you read that article, it'll describe like all what is included in the actual puzzle, right? So yeah, just don't forget, like, it's not just songs. There's music videos that are required for the puzzle as well.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. Thanks for your time, Logic Beach. We will check in, and we'll talk soon. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, thanks.
And wrapping up the show, we have something that, so if you're familiar with the ETHStaker community, our goal for a long time has been to promote the health of the Beacon chain, to promote knowledge and education in staking. We regard ourselves as being welcoming first and knowledgeable second. And if you're a developer, you might know that a lot of the development community, present company excluded, has an attitude of kind of RTFM, or if you don't know, that's your problem, or maybe elitism. And ETHStaker kind of, that's not consistent with our ethos. And we have a friend, Colfax, who is kind of turning that on its head with developing tools to connect or to improve the experience of end users on the Beacon chain. And so rather than adopting that old school ethos of elitism, Colfax is reaching out to the community and welcoming people who maybe it's kind of a ragtag bunch of people who some are just wild experts and some are just learners getting in. But he's extending our ethos of being welcoming first and knowledgeable second to development. And their suite is called, it's not a suite yet, their department is called STAKEHOUSE. And some of you might know STAKEHOUSE began as a single-click installer. We have since done a renaming kind of thing, and STAKEHOUSE is now the branch of ETHStaker that focuses on developing tools. So I'd like to welcome Colfax, and I'm not really proud of the way that I described that because I feel like I could have done better. But will you tell us from your own perspective what's going on with STAKEHOUSE?
For sure. Truthfully, I think you did a great job of explaining it. So You're being very modest. So yeah, that's basically, Stakehouse has emerged within ETHStaker as sort of, I guess, like a tool building focused group of people that are focused primarily on two things. One is lowering the technical bar to participating in Ethereum 2 staking. And secondly, doing what we can to support the health of the beacon chain. And going along with the ethos of ETHStaker about being welcoming first and knowledgeable second, I would say the ethos of Stakehouse is community first and tools second, which is kind of funny for a tools building community. But for me, I look at, in the process of starting to build Stakehouse, the one-click installer, which is now renamed Wagyu, I noticed that there are many people in the community that want to contribute to building tools, either have ideas or have like technical abilities and don't really know where to channel them, or just want to like help out and like put together resources, or even just want to like say hi and test things out and just participate in something. So instead of just focusing on one tool, we've decided to broaden it and sort of create this Stakehouse community. So it's very much in the early stages and excited to see where it goes. Our two core focuses of development right now, our primary category is installation infrastructure for Ethereum 2 clients for staking. And that would be everything from your ETH1 node to your ETH2 client and sort of how to manage that infrastructure and making it so that it's a little bit more friendly to non-technical users. So we have two installers that are under development right now, one of which is Wagyu. Here, I'll just pop this on my screen actually real quick. I'll show you sort of where we live. So if you want to come say hi, or if you want to learn more about anything, jump on over to the ETHStaker Discord. We have a Stakehouse channel. I actually just consolidated everything into our own GitHub org yesterday. There are some general information resources here in the Stakehouse repo here, and you can see sort of our tools that are in development. We're working on collaborating with an awesome developer, Rami Rond, on a decentralized graffiti drawing project, which we'll be announcing soon. So that's a minor alpha leak, I guess. And so now I'll talk about sort of these installers. So quickly, what was formerly Stakehouse is now called Wagyu. It's a one-click installer. Really is 3 clicks, but you get the point. It's a graphical interface that you can use to install and manage your infrastructure, and you don't need to interact with the command line at all. So I won't go through the demo now. There's a few links here to a demo that we did with ETHStaker during the validator workshop, and there's a quick GIF here. Also, Remy Roy, who's one of the other champions of Stakehouse. I don't know if you're on here right now. If you are, you're welcome to jump up and say hi. He's working on another tool called the Wizard, which is a CLI-based installation wizard. So this is for technical users that still can use the CLI, but don't want like a little bit more help with managing the install. So that's pretty cool too. There's a demo as well linked in the other repo from the validator workshop. And we have a bunch of other initiatives. Our next major initiative is building a UI for the key generation, so the deposit CLI. And I'm going to hand it off to Butta in just a second to go through and show sort of the designs. But before I do that, I just want to highlight how cool it's been to see all the people reach out to Stakehouse and want to contribute, whether it's from a technical standpoint or from design. So Envetica's designed some cool stuff for us. Grasp on Crypto has jumped in and submitted PRs already for Wagyu. I look at Stakehouse as a way for even like people that want to just get a little bit more involved in open source contributions to be able to like learn the mechanics of GitHub and even just like send like a simple pull request, whether it's a typo fix or anything like that. So I want to encourage anybody that's interested in joining the community, reach out to us on Discord on the Stakehouse channel. And yeah, actively looking for help and also opportunities to involve anybody with any background. So feel free to reach out, even if you just want to say hi. So I'll hand it off to Butta if you want to show us the design you've been working on for the key generation CLI.
Yeah, I would quickly add that like Wagyu itself shouldn't be just for staking, because you can also just run your nodes and connect it to MetaMask, for instance, because right now there is no way or no easy way for you to spin up your nodes, even if you don't want to stake. So yeah, we kind of do both use cases there. And
that's true. And to piggyback off of that, everything that's under development is very early stage. And right now, Wagyu only supports testnets. And I just want to give out a quick shout out to Wagyu is possible because of a lot of other open source projects that already exist. We use the Rockapool installer under the hood, and all the projects that we're going to work on at STAKEHOUSE are going to be open source with an ethos of giving back to the community. And we're kind of standing on the shoulders of giants. So like all this effort that's gone in, we are now able to build tools that'll improve the user experience a little bit. So it's yeah, I just want to pay a huge debt of gratitude to Rockapool, and then also JCRTP, who added support to all 4 clients to Rockapool, which made STAKEHOUSE be able to, or sorry, now Wagyu, be able to support all clients.
Yeah, let me go ahead. I think
I have a quick proposal. I'm sorry to interrupt, but this is important. I propose the proceeds of the action we used to put Adrian on retainer so we can have him on our calls, because someone who's really technical and understanding things is very useful. Like we all on ETHStaker, we kind of dabble on this shit, and he gets it.
Look, I'm happy to be on any call that you schedule in the middle of your night, because I'm in Australia, and that works out brilliantly for me.
This is because he's discussing with Harith on the chat that they are testing whether the new ERPs work fine on mainnet. And we have to remember that although at this point we are friends and it's like the friends we made along the way, supposedly we are here because of Ethereum.
All right. I think
sorry, I was reading chat trying to understand if the transaction went through or when is it going to be sent.
I haven't heard back. There's one of the core devs is proposing that I'll send it. So that's for the access list EIP, which is quite a corner case. It's designed so that if you're affected by the increased gas costs, there is a way to kind of reduce them again by declaring upfront which storage you're going to touch. It doesn't actually reduce the cost in all cases. It's a bit hand-wavy in details. In most cases it does, and in the key cases it needed to hit. But it's a very rarely used feature that almost certainly won't have been touched yet. So we don't know if there are bugs in clients that cause it to split, other than the fact that it's been tested, obviously on testnets and so on. But in the real deal, we're still waiting to see it in action. I'll speak up if I see anything further on someone who's sent one of those. But so far it's just it's coming.
Awesome. STAKEHOUSE, are we set there?
I wanted to quickly share the UI I made so people can actually see what it could look like. And I think it's also worth mentioning that we are supposed to build it in a way that those tools are their own components. So let's say we have the staking UI, we have the key UI or the key tool and the staking tool. Then we also have the port checker. So at the beginning of the testnets, people were confused on whether their ports are open or not. So Colfax built a tool that checks your ports. And right now, we are working on the key UI. And yeah, I'm sharing a GIF. I'm not sure if it's visible, but I hope so. And it should be very easy. So at the beginning, you choose the network you want to be on, choose a password, and then there is the mnemonic phrase check. And after that, you will have the JSON file that you have to use on your on that launchpad. So the bottleneck right now is kind of that we still have to use the launchpad for the deposit because that's the most tested tool to do the deposit. But the key creation itself can be through the UI. So that's a step forward. That's it actually.
Awesome.
So just to chime in real quick on top of what Butta said, we're planning, as we're designing it, we want each tool to be useful standalone because not everybody needs a fully managed one-click installer. And so, and again, like testers and contributors are welcome. We want to make sure that we're focused on what's best for the community. And we don't want to just be spinning in our own heads and building what we think is best. So feel free to reach out and let us know what you think would be useful for you.
as far as and so let me give you the big picture. We're about to wrap up the call. We have one more thing to talk about, but Stakehouse is what I think the next step for ETHStaker is. We have a community, and now we're gonna put that community to work in a new way. And so if you are a learner, if you're a student, and if you're a high school student who just wants to find a way to fit in and maybe learn more about development, if you're maybe like me, like I can write stuff, but I'm not great, this is a good place for you to find a crew to begin working with and find a way to make a difference in the Ethereum community. So I really would love for you to participate with Stakehouse and find out if it's the right community for you. So two more things, and then we're going to wrap up. I know that there was some technical difficulty with either claiming the POAP or participating in the canvas. If you weren't able to participate in the canvas, you have my deepest sympathies. I'm sorry. It went very well, and we will continue to work on bugs. If you were not able to claim the POAP, but you earned it, please document that you were here in some way by leaving a comment that we can refer to later. And if we can verify that, in the next week or so, we'll be glad to help you claim that POAP because we want to be fair to you. So don't let it go. If you're here and you didn't get a POAP, let us help you with that. So this creation that is the ETHStaker Berlin upgrade, now NFT, will be, so there are 2 copies of it. One of them was auctioned off, and I look forward to learning more about what happens with that version. The other version will be auctioned off, and the proceeds will be used to support ETHStaker. That doesn't go to our wallets. That goes to support the community in ways that that really end up benefiting you. So the more you benefit ETHStaker, the more we can put toward benefiting the end users. Patricio, tell us about where this is going to be auctioned and how people can bid on it.
I wish I knew. So
that's going to impact our. Sorry?
We're very likely using the foundation website, who's a quite straightforward place for auctions, and it does look fair. The only currency they take is Ether. That's quite aligned with our spirit, and I'm too tired.
Yeah, that's okay. And so if you don't know this, Patricio and his team have been busting tail for the past, the past week, but really the past few months to get this to a point where it could be used today. And so he's going to sleep very well today. I bet. Actually, he's not. He's going to be doing follow-up messages all day. But it looks great. I'm glad to have it. I don't know about, so for me, this is worth quite a bit. I'm sure that I will be bidding what I can afford to put out on it, but I know I'm no whale. But it will be up for auction. Are we looking for that this week or today? What do you have in mind?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think it's maybe safe to say, take a look at the POAP.art Twitter. And Patricio, is it safe to say that we'll tweet out from that account whenever the auction's live?
Yeah, and from ETHStaker, which is the account you should all follow.
Perfect.
I mean, if you aren't following ETHStaker on Twitter, go and do that. That's important.
Yeah, so follow our communities, follow ETHStaker, follow POAP.art. Come join us in Discord. We want to be a very inclusive community. Speaking of which, it's becoming a personal mission of mine to increase our diversity in the community. So I don't know the right way to do that, but I would like for us to look a little more inclusive than we do. And the way I know to start that is just by saying it out loud and moving toward it. But the canvas looks beautiful. And let's see, there was one last note that I was supposed to bring up. What was that, Grey Wizard? Oh, looks like we're all set. thanks everyone for joining us on this Berlin upgrade call. Berlin was kind of a given. It worked out well, and we had some great guests. I was glad to see everyone. POAP art worked out really well, and look forward to seeing you guys at our next event. So join us on Reddit at reddit.com/r/ETHStaker, on our Discord at invite.gg/ETHStaker. And hope you will subscribe and set notifications for our YouTube channel. We work really hard to create quality content on our YouTube that's related to staking and the Ethereum beacon chain community. So yeah, we're glad to have you all, and best wishes.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.